Welcome to our analysis of Claude Vignon's Allegory of War, Peace, and Commerce. My name is Allison and I'm glad to have Dustin Peck here as well.
Claude Vignon lived from 1593 to 1670 and grew up in France, where he would end up doing most of his work.
After training under Jacob Brunel, a French painter and draughtsman, he traveled to Rome in about 1609, where he was believed to work for the next 10 years or so.
Vignon is quite popular and has left many drawings and paintings behind. The painting we are looking at today is the Allegory of War, Peace, and Commerce.
This work is 37.25 inches tall by 47 inches wide and is oil on canvas. This work displays the characteristics in which we classify with the Baroque period.
Let's dive into some of the characteristics of the Baroque work. We can clearly see how light and shadow are used to give a sense of depth to this painting.
We can also see how the figures are intertwined together in the painting, which, unlike the paintings from the Renaissance that were linear and segmented with different spaces for each figure, the Baroque shows the movement within the painting.
The painting clearly shows how the open composition reveals only the upper half of the bodies in the Baroque characteristic.
Another characteristic we can also see is how there are almost no outlines at all in this painting. The painting itself is blended to suggest a change of light in the painterly manner rather than the strict linear lines of the Renaissance.
Vignon's work is characterized by his use of intensified local color, which he achieves with highlights of either yellow or white and small splashes of other bright colors. Comparatively speaking, we can look at some of Vignon's other allegorical works. Specifically, I wanted to compare the drawing of an allegorical figure mentioned by Pierre Rosenberg and some drawings by Claude Vignon.
Rosenberg accredits this drawing to Vignon's time in Vienna, Italy. This depicts a woman wearing a gown-like robe holding what appears to be an olive leaf headpiece, similar to the one in our painting. She also appears to be holding another olive branch in her other hand, which is exactly the same thing our woman figure is doing. Could this be a full-size drawing of the same allegorical figure? They are very similar.
Just based on the size of the painting, I hypothesized that it was meant for either a private home or small gathering place like a shop. This type of allegorical piece would have been viewed by small audiences rather than large crowds. Vignon had close relations with Louis XIV and many people in his court, so it might have been intended for one of these high-rolling patrons, but we do not know for sure.
This painting shows three allegorical figures entangled. We have the first allegorical figure, who we believe is Pax, the Roman goddess of peace. She is normally symbolized in art with olive leaves and branches. In our piece, she is wearing an olive branch headdress, as well as clutching an olive branch in her hand. Pax seems to be intruding onto the other two, suggesting a settlement between the other allegorical figures.
The figure on the right appears to be the Roman god Hermes, the god of trade and commerce. He is symbolized by his caduceus, which is entangled with Mars's sword. The figure in the middle is also an allegorical figure. This figure is Mars, the god of war, the biggest characteristic being his helmet. Mars also has some kind of fire sword painted in a reddish-orange color, as well as what appears to be a shield on his back, all of which are symbols for the god Mars. Thus you have all three allegorical figures, as the title suggests: war, peace, and commerce.
The significance of size of Painting may suggest which allegorical figure has the upper hand. Mars, the god of war, is the largest figure and therefore tends to have the most effect on people and the public. War can create chaos and can affect commerce negatively or positively. Peace is obtained when not at war and commerce is thriving. This interpretation could be viewed like the term guns or butter, which begs the question, should the government spend more on war or more on infrastructure and commerce, which brings peace?
Well, that's it. Thanks for joining us today, and we hope you enjoyed our analysis of Claude Vinon's Allegory of War, Peace, and Commerce.